Did you? I don't know. Did you ever do this as well when they make you buy they made me buy? I remember I was so annoyed about this. I was like, what? They wouldn't let you buy a cheap version of it. They made you buy a book with like the table of all the thermodynamic like constants of every material. And I remember it was something like $100 for this book. And if you dared bring not the book they recommend, they would like confiscate it off you.
You've just brought back like a wave of memory.
Did you have this thermodynamic table?
Not this book, but just
I didn't have. I mean, it was same with books.
Yeah.
University textbooks in general. I remember showing up on my first day. I'm like, I'm ready to take on university. I got some spare change. First day you rock up and they're like, this is the recommended.
They'll be like, you have to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
These are the textbooks you're going to need. And then you look up the prices and it's like minimum, like first edition. It's £80 or some shit like that. And that's
$100.
Yeah, and that's one out of 8 textbooks you need. I'm like,
see, because we had that list as well of like, oh, these are textbooks you'll be using during your first semester.
yeah.
But you don't need it if you don't want to.
They don't
and I'm
use
just
them half
like,
the time.
okay, I won't.
Well, the thermodynamic one, at least for my exams, if you didn't have that book, you literally couldn't do the
So
exam.
they wouldn't let you. You had to have that for the exam.
If you went into the exam without it, you have to remember every constant for every material, every like grade of aluminum.
Right.
Aluminum, gross. Aluminium.
No, you said it right the first time.
You know, they would be like different, like it would be like heat treated aluminium.
Yeah.
And then it would be like,
Yeah.
this is the constant. And it's like,
Yeah.
this is insane. Like, I understand like, I just think that, why can't you print
Is that
this out
is that
on
something
paper?
you're supposed to remember as an engineer?
No.
No, you can't remember the constant.
it's-
Well, then why the fuck?
Because they're dickheads.
Well, they want you to get used to the idea of like,
Yeah.
okay, if you're using this material, using like tungsten.
You don't need $100 book to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Like,
Well, can you not
printout
just
would be fine.
Google it?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the real world,
like
you would-
a normal
in
person?
the real world, you
Yeah.
would Google it.
I mean, it's
Or
probably
you would have
good.
the book, and maybe you would reference it once every blue.
I'm sure
moon.
today
Right.
there's probably like an app specifically that just has like a
The
list
worst
of
part
for
was
it.
that this book was like additions. I bet
Yeah.
these materials weren't changing that much. I'm sorry.
Anyone doing any stuff like this is going to have the resources in the actual industry. Like, it's just you have someone who's going to deal with materials, someone who's going to deal with
Every single CAD model,
Yeah.
you would put in the material and the type of material it was, and it would do it for you. You wouldn't need to know the constant.
Like,
Wow.
You definitely, like, there are jobs where you have to do this stuff, but it's also like most of the time.
It's just like it's like you pay an absurd amount of money
Yeah.
to go to college or university or whatever, and then they greet you with a, hey, spend another $1,000 that you wanted to use to live on these dumb books, just because we refuse to make it any easier for you.
Which they could.
Yeah.
But they don't.
And it's just like, I remember this big pile of textbooks that like I had when I finished my degree, and 90% of them were just untouched. They were like in pristine condition. And I spent like fucking $300-400 getting this shelf
Yeah.
of textbooks. I'm like, why the fuck did I spend that amount of money? I'm a broke college student.
And you can't resell them because there's additions
Yeah.
and barely anything changes.
They rearrange the question.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
answer
Yeah.
is that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a ripple.
Yeah.
I gotta go to
It's
the toilet.
fucked.
All right.
Yeah, no, it made me feel bad.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm just realizing now, like actual scam. In
It was like a
university.
legit scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe it.
I would like strip the security off the PDFs. Like I would like spend hours and hours trying to find ways to do that, like finding some Python script that someone wrote and then like throwing the PDF in there. Like
Yeah.
I remember I bought one. I rented. No, I think I bought it from Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
An ebook. Then I've used this like Python script I found to like strip all the security out of it.
Shit.
And then I returned the book back to Barnes and Noble.
And so you had a copy. That
So I had
was
a
clean.
copy of the PDF that was clean and easier to use.
Did you
than,
just send it around to everyone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
this won't be in.
No, this is years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What are they gonna do, sue me? What are they-
I don't even remember what book it was. They can't find me.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
no,
genius.
I really just like I like doing like making stuff. I think it's kind of like art. Like I always used to laugh at like STEM. I mean, you've heard of STEM before, like science, technology, engineering, math, and then STEAM, where they like would throw art into it, and I'm like, well, art doesn't belong in here.
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, the more it's like making stuff is half art.
Oh yeah, because you have to visualize.
You have to- yeah, exactly.
Kind of have this like vision for it that is quite difficult, and it's very very difficult at times.
Yeah.
And it's like, why else would you want to do something if it wasn't art? Like if you have to solve a problem, that's more engineering. But if you want to do something, that is kind of artistic. You know, like I used to try to make like camera equipment and stuff. So I had like a really crappy like camera slider that was like skateboard wheels and PVC pipes on like little what are those swivelly wheels called? You know, like dolly wheels.
Oh, the
kinda.
ones that you have on like office chairs.
Yeah. And so you could like, you know, slide it back and forth, get cool camera moves and stuff. Just like making like equipment that you couldn't afford to buy.
That's cool.
And like I made a thing you know, the camera gimbals, like the stabilizing ones. So like before any like the cheap nice ones from DJI came out, I bought one from some kid who had like screwed it up. So I bought it for like $100 because he had destroyed it and he was just trying to like get some of his money back. So it was like Craigslist bought it from him. Fixed it up, and then I programmed a bunch of stuff and added some electronics so that I could have this camera monitor wirelessly, like external to it. And so you could, as you pivoted the monitor, the camera that someone else was holding over here would move.
That's insane.
And it's like, I didn't need to do that. Like, why did I do that? It's not because I'm trying to solve an actual problem I had, because that kind of stuff just makes
like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool. And so it's like, you know, that to me made me realize I think that engineering and like sciencey stuff is more art. Where it's like, I'm trying to like do things that I think are cool and interesting and see if I can solve these problems, which is like not far off from, it's like painting. I mean, do you guys do any kind of hardcore traditional art stuff?
I don't.
Have you tried painting before?
I think I have negative art skills.
Yeah.
I did a little bit when I was young, but I was never good at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like most people are bad at it.
Yeah. There's a reason why I don't do it anymore.
It's practice, right? Like any art is just like no one's like, I mean, I'm sure there's a prodigy, but most people aren't good at painting.
Beat them up.
Yeah, we'll beat them up. Well, you know,
well, YouTube's an art form. making content, right? Making content.
I mean, I think being able to visualize.
I don't make content, I make art.
I think it takes a very creative mindset to be able to visualize a flow and kind of have that mind of
telling a
like,
story.
Yeah. That's hard. People can't do that normally. You do need practice.
Yeah.
The easier it looks like your video was to make,
the better,
the harder it was to make. And a lot of people don't understand. Like they think that we are much more talented than we actually are. Like, it's a lot more head banging against the wall to like get something to be.
Don't say that. I was writing on that.
I mean, a lot of your
the illusion is broken.